Hello board game brothers and sisters, and welcome to another episode where I'll be letting you know of Kickstarters launching this week. The first thing I wanted to mention is that I do have a large giveaway that's wrapping up, and you can actually win yourself a box-thrown shelf or a wormwood table. I have a video posted about 3 weeks ago that you can check out, and I'll leave a link to that up here, and make sure you check that video out and enter in the contest because you don't want to miss that one. And on the topic of giveaways, we also have a pledge to give away this week for Tomorrow Dies Today, which is currently on Kickstarter. You can go check it out, and this is donated from the kind people over at Mooney Bin Entertainment, and this will be for a Loyal Henchman pledge. And Tomorrow Dies Today is a game of strategy, negotiation, and world domination where players are going to be competing against each other to form their very own new world order. And this game actually features 3 different game modes. First, we have the Syndicate and Mayhem modes, which allow for solo or cooperative play, along with team versus team. And then we have the more unique Cutthroat mode, where players can play as a supervillain or a henchman. And the goal of the supervillain is to complete their doomsday plan. They have no pieces on the board, so they must influence, bribe, and threaten the henchmen in order to carry out their will. The henchman players must maintain their relationship with the supervillain as well as with each other. These players will build temporary alliances and deals, and they'll also build squads in order to complete different missions. Afterwards, they'll have to return to the base to make sure that they cash in those victory points. A henchman can win second place by getting the most victory points, but if they want to come in first, then they need to betray their organization at the right time and tear it down from the inside. This game comes with 10 different asymmetrical characters to choose from, and it also comes with 5 different Doomsday missions so that you can make sure that each game is a lot different than the last. It's really kind of these guys to donate a pledge, so if you're interested in this game, definitely check out the Kickstarter, and they even have a few how to play videos and some rules that you can check out to know more. And like I said, this giveaway is going to be for a Loyal Henchman pledge that comes with the core game and all stretch goals, along with some metal miniatures for all the different henchmen. And to enter this contest, all you have to do is leave a comment down below with the hashtag #TomorrowDiesToday and let us know who your favorite supervillain is. For me, I think I'll have to go back to Star Trek for this one again, and I would definitely pick Q. I love how he just shows up out of nowhere and completely hijacks an episode. He did turn out to have a bit of a heart after all, so I don't know if he still qualifies as a villain, but every time he shows up in an episode, I always know it's going to be a good one. I'm interested to see who you pick, so best of luck, and now let's draw some winners from last week's contests. And the first giveaway was for a Buy the Book pledge by Card Games 101, and this pledge includes a really nice book that contains artwork and rules for 30 different card games. And to enter this contest, all you had to do was let me know what your favorite card game was. And I use this application here to randomly draw a winner based on a keyword that we chose. And all these extra names at the bottom here are extra entries for my Patreon subscribers. If you're interested in joining my Patreon, I'll leave a link to that in the description below. It's really the best way to support the channel. And let's go ahead and draw a winner. And we have 𝗚𝗺𝗲. And he says here that he rediscovered Scat not too long ago, which is a great trick-taking game. If you haven't heard of it, definitely check it out. So congratulations to 𝗚𝗺𝗲. And just email me at adam@shelfclutter.com and we'll get that pledge sorted out for you. We did have one more giveaway last week, and that was for Antematter, which is a game of strategy and piracy. And this game also incorporates some bluffing mechanisms in the form of Texas Hold'em. And to enter this giveaway, all you had to do is let us know what spaceship you would first commandeer as a space pirate. And I'm going to be using the same application here, so let's go ahead and grab those comments and draw a winner. And our winner is 𝗚𝗚𝗲987. And they say the Serenity all the way. And this is actually the ship from Firefly, and the only reason I know that is because there are a lot of comments of people wanting to steal this ship. And I've never actually seen this series, but I think it's about time I checked it out. So Night King, make sure to email me at adam@shelfclutter.com. And for the rest of us, make sure to congratulate our winners, and don't forget to enter this week's contest, which I'll be announcing at the start of next week's video. With that said, let's get to the Kickstarters. And the first game I have for you launches on the 14th, and it's called Everbane, and it plays 2 to 6 players, where players are going to be acting as different heroes, competing to become the most notorious in the land. Players are going to be competing against each other to complete epic quests, as each round starts with drawing a card from the quest deck. The first to get 10 of these cards wins the game, but it doesn't stop there, because you'll also be able to duel your opponents, steal their cards, and unleash monsters against them to force them to trade cards with you. That's all the info I have on this game right now, but they will be releasing a rulebook when the Kickstarter Kickstarter launches, so make sure to check that out if you want to know more. And the next campaign launches on September 15th, and it's called Facility 7, and this plays 2 to 6 players and actually has a flexible game time that you can actually control, and you can play from 20 minutes all the way up to 3 hours. And this game is all about espionage, betrayal, and tongue-in-cheek humor as players are spies working their way through the bumbling evil genius's lair as they encounter guards and high-tech gadgets and traps as they collect data throughout the lair. The lair gets formed by players laying cards as they explore it, so each game is going to end up with a different map. Players start the game mostly on the same side as they will not be attacking each other, but sometimes your plan may coincidentally sabotage some other player's plan. But things change once the mainframe gets hacked and the alarm starts blaring, because it's going to be all players for themselves as they try to escape the lair. One thing that's neat about this game is it has very flexible rules that are designed to encourage game variance. There's already a few that have been designed by the creators, but they're also going to be releasing many more through their social media, all for free, and players can also create their own homebrew variants as well. And the next campaign is also launching on the 15th, and it's called Soulgivers, and this plays 2 players and takes about 30 to 60 minutes to play. And this is an abstract strategy game where players are competing civilizations that are both facing annihilation due to a cosmic disease called the Decay. And to beat the Decay, there's only one cure, so players are going to be racing to get that and fighting to keep it throughout the game. There's a lot of neat things about this game, and one of those is that the game's been designed with the goal of having infinite strategies. So expect a lot of variability through a modular board, variable player powers, and a lot of different opportunities offered as you play the game. Another neat thing about this game is that when one of your pawns dies, one of your other pawns can absorb their soul, which gains them their powers and abilities, and makes that existing pawn more powerful for the rest of the game. I'm also very intrigued by the components in this game. They look very awesome and a lot different from what I've seen in other games. And I think this would look really neat set up somewhere in your house, just like a chess table. And this one's going to be my pick of the week. And there's a few reasons why I'm picking this one. The first thing is that I really like how the pawns can absorb powers of their fallen brethren. I really like this from a design standpoint because it does 2 things really well. First is that it has a catch-up mechanic built into it. So as your pawns are being defeated, you'll then be able to combine those abilities into a single pawn, which will keep you competitive throughout the game. The second thing I find really interesting about this is how it will change the game as the game progresses. Since at the start of the game, you're going to have a lot of weaker pawns, but then near the end of the game, you'll have fewer pawns, but with stacked abilities since they've absorbed the powers of your fallen pawns. This sounds really fun to me because the basis of your strategy is going to change from one extreme to the other as the game comes to a conclusion. The other reason I'm making this my pick of the week is because this game really seems like something that makes sense for Kickstarter. The artwork and components for this all look very premium, and that's really a great reason to have a game on Kickstarter. The sad truth is that buying something on Kickstarter is almost always more expensive than buying it in retail, but the way that I like to think about Kickstarter is that it's offering a more premium experience to those of us that are willing to pay that little bit extra. And I'm not saying that's the only way that Kickstarter makes sense, but that's definitely one of them. And we'll have to wait to see the price on this one, but hopefully it's still reasonable relative to the quality that you're getting. I do have some concerns with this game, the main thing being that their goal was to create an infinite possibility of strategies, and that is something that's open to interpretation, so I'm not sure quite how to interpret that. But as a game designer, I know that you don't want to be giving too many options to your players because that can generate analysis paralysis and really lock up the game or make it feel overwhelming. A general rule that game designers go with is that you don't want more than 7 options to a player at any given time. Part of me is not super concerned about this because although there may be a lot of different strategies, I think it'll only boil down to a few that are worth considering as you play the game. I would have really liked to see some more reviews from playtesters on BoardGameGeek, but unfortunately a lot of games don't really have many reviews before they launch. But overall, I really like the look of this game. It has some really neat concepts, and I think if done right, this could be a lot of fun. So I'm excited to see the campaign to find out more. I just wanted to pause here for a second to thank you for watching the video, and if you like content like this, make sure to subscribe because I post a video like this each week. And if you want to support the channel and also get something nice for yourself, definitely check out Kickstartergames.com because any sales made there, a small percentage will come back to help this channel. Kickstartergames.com offers a lot of different board games, and if you check back periodically, you'll even find that they occasionally offer some Kickstarter versions of the games. Another good thing to know is that they have monthly giveaways, and all you have to do is subscribe to their newsletter. And this month they're offering 𝗚𝗺𝗲 𝗟𝗶, which is by the same game designer as Wingspan. So if you're planning to buy a game, definitely check out 𝗚𝗚𝗃𝗀games.com. The next campaign's also on the 15th, and it's called Bots Up, and this plays 2 to 5 players and takes about 10 to 40 minutes to play. And Bots Up is a party game where players are going to be building a robot from different cards at the start of the game, and then they're going to battle those bots against each other, and the last player standing wins the game. The strength of your robot is going to be determined based on the parts that you manage to scavenge as you build your bot, and you're also going to be getting 4 battle cards at the start of the game. You'll be able to play up to 2 of these and then redraw 2 on each of your turns. There's also some battle cards that activate immediately upon drawing them, and also some that you can play at any time throughout the game. Some of these cards will be damage cards, which either allow you to attack a component of a single opponent's robot or to attack all players' robots. Some of these cards might also give you abilities such as upgrading or repairing parts of your robot or swapping parts with another player. There's also the occasional power play card that can have massive and hilarious effects on the game. Bots take damage to the individual parts that they are built with, and when that part reaches 0 health, the card gets flipped, and that represents the part being destroyed and falling off the robot. The last remaining player with a functional part of the robot wins the game. The next campaign's also releasing on the 15th, along with all the next campaigns, but I'm just going to keep saying it, and that's Embarcadero, and this plays 2 to 4 players and takes 60 to 90 minutes to play. I was expecting this one to launch last week, but it looks like it got released this week instead. And this game takes place back in the 1950s, where people were actually abandoning their ships in pursuit of better and brighter things with the active gold rush that was going on during that time. Players are going to be acting as ambitious entrepreneurs, dragging these ships back to shore and reclaiming them and repurposing them to build a thriving port city where they're going to be building their empires. The game takes place over 3 rounds where players are going to be taking turns playing cards and placing tiles to take control of wharves and earn points and influence. This game incorporates area majority, automatic resource growth, a market, and a zone of control. And the next campaign, also launching on the 15th, is called In Too Deep, and it plays 1 to 4 players and takes about 60 to 90 minutes to play. And this game is actually a relaunch, and it's something that I covered in a past video. And this game takes place in the future where a growing criminal syndicate is slowly taking over the land, and players are acting as undercover agents that are using new technology that actually allows those agents to enter the minds of the villains. By doing this, players will be able to influence a criminal's decision to some degree, but this is going to take a toll on your body and mind as you fade into madness, as you lose grip with morality. This game is being relaunched with a bunch of new changes that they hope will improve the game and make the campaign even more exciting. And Burnt Island Games actually released an interview video that explains all these changes and lets you know of what you can expect. I'll leave a link to that up here if you want to check it out for yourself. And the next campaign, also launching on the 15th, is called Cascadia, and this plays 1 to 4 players and takes about 30 to 45 minutes to play. And this is a puzzly tile laying and token drafting game where you're going to be laying different tiles to build out your habitat, and then you'll be assigning wildlife to each tile to build your ecosystem. Players are going to be competing to create the most harmonious ecosystem by putting wildlife and habitats together that will work in spatial harmony, and players will also gain points by having the largest continuous habitat corridor. The artwork for this one's by 𝗚𝗺𝗃 𝗟𝗶, so you can expect some top-notch table presence. And also on the 15th, we have Impression, and this plays 2 to 4 players and takes about 1 to 2 hours to play. And Impression is a game focused on the history of printing. You're going to be managing your own manufacturer to become the most successful in book printing throughout all of Europe. This is a Euro-style game and incorporates mechanisms like tile placement, variable player powers, and worker placement. And during the game, you're going to be developing your manufacturer, obtaining new abilities, traveling and building factories, and fulfilling orders. So it also looks like this will have a bit of engine building as well. Throughout all this, you're going to be gaining victory points, and the player with the most victory points at the end of the game wins the game. Also on the 15th, we have Escape Deathrace 𝗚𝗺𝗃 Micro, and this plays 1 to 4 players and takes about 15 to 30 minutes to play. And this is a game that fits into a small tin, and players are going to be racers drawing tiles and placing those tiles out to form the racetrack. But this isn't a normal race because you'll also be working towards defeating 3 mini-bosses and working your way up to the main boss. You'll also be able to attack your fellow racers as you compete to win the death race. This game incorporates variable player powers, tile placement, take that, push your luck, king of the hill, event cards, and card play conflict resolution. And finally, on the 15th, we have Forgotten Depths, and this plays 1 to 3 players and takes about 45 to 135 minutes to play. And Forgotten Depths is a cooperative dungeon adventure game where players are going to be trying to get to the bottom of the dungeon to destroy the powerful entity that resides there. To make it, you're going to have to improve your heroes by finding items, and you're going to have to manage your resources, either using them to heal your team or to use them to gain special abilities later in the game. The dungeon features 3 different levels, each with their own unique monsters, features, and hard to find legendary locations. dungeons. This game offers a lot of variability as there's 30 unique monsters, 30 unique dungeon features, 12 hard to find legendary locations, and 6 unique bosses. The main mechanisms for this game is tile lane and hand management. Quite a lot of games this week, and I hope there's something there that caught your interest. Next week's going to be an awesome episode because there's going to be a few games that I've been anticipating for quite a while. So make sure to subscribe because you won't want to miss out on that episode. That's everything I have for now. Until next time, keep that shelf cluttered and the table full.